The Roman Empire is known, without doubt, as one of the greatest civilizations in the history of humanity. Over 1,000 years, it held the known world through a unique combination of military power, architectural genius, and political sophistication. By the 5th century AD, however, after more than 5 centuries of expansion, glory, and power, the empire began its slow collapse. And yet, what really caused the fall of the Roman Empire? Now let's dig deeper into the reasons for the fall of Rome as we discuss all those reasons. Rome's rise to power was utterly extraordinary. Started in the 8th century BC, it expanded from a humble city-state on the banks of the Tiber River into an effective empire that reached from Britain to Egypt and from Spain to Mesopotamia. And at its zenith, it became an empire of unimaginable wealth and influence. By the 2nd century AD, the Roman Empire had grown to be a vast network of provinces linked together through roads, commerce, and military strength. Its legal system, cultural achievements, and the power of its military were unparalleled. However, this immense power had a cost, and it was ultimately going to bring with it the downfall of Rome. As the empire expanded, so did its internal challenges. The vastness of Rome made it difficult to govern, and the central authority of the emperor grew weaker over time. Political instability became rampant. Emperors came and went, often through violent coups, and the Senate, once the heart of Roman governance, lost much of its power. Emperors Nero, Caligula, and Commodus are amongst the most well-known cruel and extravagant incompetents. The result was people turning away from these rulers, and many started to wonder if the empire itself was unstable. The 3rd century AD saw a time of chaos known as the Crisis of the 3rd Century. The empire found itself with almost 26 emperors in just 50 years, in a cycle of military anarchy and economic decline. Rome's lavish wealth was founded on a taxation system, plunder, and trade. However, as the empire expanded, so did its financial burdens. It required much to maintain such vast legions, and the wealth of Rome began to dwindle. Farmers were the backbone of Rome's economy, however. They suffered under these oppressive taxes. A massive gap between the elite and the uncelebrated lower classes grew, and this led to the unhappiness of many. Roman sex and sexuality were complex and multifaceted in the Roman Empire, defined by a wide range of social, cultural, and legal considerations, varying with the change in time and class. On the whole, the Romans looked upon sex more open-mindedly than modern Western standards. But sexual activity was guarded by miles of constraints and rules, depending on one's social status and, of course, one's gender. This article explores Roman attitudes towards sex, marriage, prostitution, and the role of sexuality in everyday life. Sex in Roman society is characterized by its being both natural and completely regulated at the same time. Sexual behavior remains closely tied to power relations, foremost being domination of freeborn males over slaves and women, and the control a male needs to ensure Roman honor and reputation, or virtus. Roman society was highly patriarchal. Gender was characterized by a strict definition of roles. A freeborn Roman man was expected to show power and dominance in all sectors of life, including in sexuality. Therefore, Roman men often found sex lives easy compared to women, whose sex lives were closely regulated and linked to upholding family honor and producing legitimate heirs. Most Roman men preferred sex with women, but at least occasionally also had relations with men, specifically male slaves or younger youths, if they took the active, penetrating role. There is no shame attached to a free man's being the passive partner, since that would imply weakness or loss of control. Prostitution was legal and common in the Roman Empire, an integral part of city life, particularly in a city like Rome and Pompeii. Prostitutes tended to be slaves or freed women, though some of them entered the profession voluntarily. Brothels were widespread, usually in the basements of apartment buildings, but also more visibly throughout the city. These places of entertainment have been controlled by the state, and there are certain taxes and rules governing their operation. Roman religion shaped much of the thinking about sex on the part of Romans. Many gods were sexualized, and even the act of sex was sometimes a religious ritual. Thus, for instance, Venus could be seen as a symbol of love and erotic sense, but at the same time, her cult was related to fertility rites and sacred prostitution. Public baths constituted a major function in the Roman social life, and they also played a role in sexual culture. In fact, bathhouses often served as places where people could meet to socialize, engage in casual sexual encounters, etc. Health practices were often discussed and promoted in spaces like bathhouses. Homosexuality, in relationships between adult men and younger boys or slaves, for example, did not raise eyebrows within the Roman world, but there existed strict power dynamics. The Romans did not define sexual activity through sexual orientation in the way that we do today, but rather through roles of dominance and submission. A freeborn Roman man could have sexual intercourse with another man as long as he was the active partner, exercising his power and dominance. Sexuality in the Roman Empire was multifaceted and deeply ingrained in daily life, whereby complex social hierarchies, gender roles, and cultural norms shaped it. While sexual freedom was enjoyed by Roman men, particularly those of high social status, women's sexual lives were tightly controlled, and non-normative sexual behavior was often marginalized or stigmatized. Despite the empire's eventual fall, its sexual culture and practices have left a lasting impact on Western notions of sexuality and social norms. The Roman attitude towards sex, marriage, and public morality served as a critical component of their civilization, mirroring larger themes of power, control, and the search for legacy. Slave labor tied up much of the resources of Rome and stifled innovation as well. More and more resources were taken from the economy as the military needs of the empire increased. The silver content in the coinage system was gradually reduced, unleashing inflation and collapse of the economy. It so happens that the empire was also faced with external challenges, while internal corruption and economic collapse brewed. The Western Roman Empire, by the 4th and 5th centuries AD, was on siege from various barbarian tribes on the northern frontiers. Such tribes, Visigoths, Vandals, Huns, relentlessly pounded against the empire's borders. The long once powerful legions of Rome, now weakened by internal strife, proved no match to the ferocity and mobility of these so-called barbarians. In 410 AD, the Visigoths, led by Alaric, sacked Rome itself. That blow shook the empire to its core, and for nearly 800 years, it was the first time Rome has ever been leveled to a foreign enemy. Because of the pressure coming at it from all sides, the Roman Empire was divided in 395 AD into two halves. The Eastern Roman Empire, based in Constantinople, went on to flourish for another 1,000 years as the Byzantine Empire. However, the Western Roman Empire, already beset on both internal and external sides by barbarian pressure, began its slow dissolution. It was 476 AD when the last emperor, Romulus Augustulus, was overthrown by the Germanic leader Odoacer, which marked the final blow to the Western Roman Empire. Over 1,000 years had passed since its foundation, and the empire was no more. The fall of the Roman Empire did not mean the end of Roman influence. The Eastern Roman Empire, or Byzantine Empire, would survive for another 1,000 years, preserving much of Roman law, culture, and art. The fall of Constantinople in 1453 did not end Rome's legacy in the course of Western civilization. Its law system, as well as its architectural wonders, its roads, and even roads of governance, leave Rome's mark on the modern world. The fall of the Roman Empire is a story complicated, one of grandeur and decay, of ambition and hubris, of strength and vulnerability. It reminds us that even the greatest empires, no matter how vast, can crumble under the weight of internal decay, external pressure, and the inexorable passage of time. If you enjoyed this walkthrough, do not forget to like and share this video with fellow history enthusiasts. And if you want to learn more stories of the past that have built our world, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. So friends, this was our today's video. What do you think was the biggest reason behind Rome's fall? And let me know in the comments below. Until next time, keep on exploring history and keep it curious. See you in the next video.